Seetha Rani is HR leader with Philips Innovation Campus. Thank you for taking time out to be with us today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Seetha is known for shaping high-performing, inclusive and future-ready organizations through her deep, people-centric approach to culture and capability and change. With over 2 decades across multinational companies, she brings rich expertise in organizational design, cultural integration and large-scale transformation, offering a powerful lens on the people and culture shifts shaping Karnataka's workspaces. Now let's talk about this people-centric leadership that we're so often discussing on every panel. How do you build cultures where people feel seen, valued and able to thrive?
I've learned one thing over a period of time is that people thrive less because of the systems and more because of how they feel at workplace. Right? Whether we like the word feel or not, it's real. Right? Across multi-generation, what remains consistent is the need for connection, growth, and autonomy. People want to belong to something larger than themselves. Secondly, they want to learn continuously. It need not be just technical skills, soft skills, many others. They want to see themselves evolve to their next version. And then the need for a safe space for them to contribute with a sense of ownership. Now, it's in our role as leadership, we need to create those environments which can balance a system that has a strong community as well as space for individual autonomy. That will be the role of leaders. Right? And I have seen organizations make this come alive, right? Through their very structured and intentional platforms. I can give an instance from Philips. Again, platforms, right? Philips has created opportunities such as Philips has Got Talent, Olympics, where people play indoor, outdoor games, competitions, etc. And also communities of practices, where people who are like beginners or novices to experts, they passionately come together and create communities, such as it could be on topics like AI, data, clinical, systems engineering, people leadership, program management, architecture, etc., etc. So what happens here is there is camaraderie and then an opportunity for continuous learning. So these are different ways that people can.
I think a lot of what we're talking about, people-centric cultures, like you said, camaraderie, right, is about how people can actually get along and sort of thrive in an organization as opposed to be individual silos when you work. When we're talking about organizational design, what principles do you think guide effective organizational design, especially when you're looking at companies that scale or transform?
My experience, what I have seen is the org designs are usually complicated and complex simply because we try to solve a lot of different dimensions in one go. So I always go back to 2 core principles. One, first start with what matters to the customers. So if you figured out what the customer outcomes are, then naturally there will be accountability and then empowerment to deliver their best. That is the first. Second part is to keep it simple. It's always complexity that is the barrier, especially when the transformation is large scale. So I've seen organizations which are successful, they try to keep day-to-day function, the way they work, very simple. It helps them to align people. It clarifies ownership, reduces overlap, and enables faster decision making.
I think decision making as well, when you're looking at leaders, especially when you have a larger workforce, it becomes a little more complicated, right? So you're talking about change leadership. How do you help leaders and teams navigate large-scale change with clarity and resilience? Now, resilience is a very easy word to use, however much stronger to implement, right? So how do you think that will change?
Over time, what I've seen is during change, if you can anchor around the purpose, that helps bring forth resilience. I can talk about purpose. I can talk about my own purpose. So purpose is not just an abstract thing. It's something deep and personal. So I crafted my purpose a few years ago. My purpose is anchored around 3 P's. enable, evolve, and enrich. So I'm deeply energized when I'm able to enable people, organization, and also myself. And what is more satisfying is to see people evolve to their next version over a period of time, right? I've started tracking my own transformation from 2003. So the version that is talking to you today is version 12.0, right? So, and most importantly, while enabling and evolving, the final dimension arrives. That is enriching lives. Right? So this is the purpose. So whatever happens, I use this lens when it comes back, right? To change management. When you just come back, sorry, when you come back,
I think we're talking about purpose-driven
yeah,
management.
purpose-driven management. So when you come back to the purpose and you anchor everything around purpose, it is very compelling. When employees or people are anchored around purpose, they bring forth their best. They have clarity, and that brings resilience. So they not only navigate through the change, but they grow through it. That's what I have seen over a period of time. And I can quote an example from Philips, right? Philips' purpose is to innovate in the health space, basically better care for more people. So the anchoring is all around that compelling purpose to make a difference to people. So people really have clarity that brings forth accountability, and thereby, they bring their best.
Perfect. Now we're also talking about inclusion and equity in the workspace today. What practices do you think actually strengthen inclusion and equity and well-being, especially in global tech environments where you work today?
Inclusion, according to me, is more of a most important thing in inclusion is the leadership, right? So you can demonstrate inclusion by the way you write your policy or your processes, etc. You can have inclusion enabled into it, but nothing can replace how the leaders show up on a daily basis, right? So I believe in one principle, that is, you should be able to do both, dance on the floor and also have a balcony moment, right? If you have your structures in such a way that leaders are in touch with the employee experience, which again is very evolving, right? Over a period of time, it has been evolving. And today, people expect leaders to be empathetic, to listen actively, and also have a dialogue, an engaging dialogue, not just communicate direction. That helps. So if you're having systems around where leaders are continuously talking and understanding what are the changing realities, what are the ground realities, what are the expectations, that helps set the organization for success. So I've seen, in other companies that I've seen, as well as in Philips, right, there are employee resource groups where, it could be women's group or it could be a rainbow group or it could even be the change, young leaders, etc. Coffee corners to many things. These are all enablers, and they have to be structured. If there is a platform created, then these things become on a day-to-day basis.
We're talking about the future now, right? Karnataka's talent future. What capabilities do you think will define Karnataka's next generation of people and culture leaders coming from the states here?
I'm born and brought up in Bangalore, and having seen Karnataka's evolution over several decades, we are definitely placed as a very strong hub for technology and talent. Now, we are at a very crucial um, point at this time when change has become like consistent, constant, right? So what I believe today is the kind of talent that we need are people who can integrate technology, business, and people together, right? If leaders are able to integrate this, it can be very strong. What will happen is, as I mentioned, leaders need to operate at the intersection of business, technology, and people. There is a larger shift underway. Today, every business is a software business. So, if we are able to bring forth people who can deal with ambiguity and bring together people, business, and technology, that is an ecosystem that we need to create. So today it's not so much about how many people you deploy, it's about how you build and enable their capabilities. So if we can build people, people will build everything else.
Perfect. I think that makes the whole concept of building teams a lot clearer. Thank you so much for your
Thanks a
time.
lot.